Okay, now Biden only has, I don't know, 10 months or so before the election. And so what they do a lot of times, these politicians, they're going to give out more money so they maybe get more votes. But it's not directly in a way. In other words, Biden's not going to sit in the back of the White House and hand out checks. The system's complicated. And most of but actually it's elected officials, so all your local government agencies and cities and counties and state government will be wanting you to vote for them too, so they're going to find more money. Now what's happening too is there's a lot of COVID money still at the local level, okay? So that's why they haven't spent it all. And that's why what's coming up now, the local officials are now deciding, hey, we have this extra money, we got to get rid of it. Now, I'm going to give you 10 places, and I'll have the links. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put, after I finish this, I'll put the links in the description so you have all the links to apply for these programs and find out more about it. But more importantly, when you listen to what I'm giving, there's most likely the same programs where you live. See, I'm giving you samples of programs in different parts of the country that just started these programs. Because that's why I get notice about new programs. But what happens is there's probably programs similar to that already where you live. So don't be, closed-minded and think, oh, that's there and it won't be here. Man, you don't know that. I don't know that. But I'm showing you the kinds of programs that are available for where you live. And that's why if you're a member, then it's really start finding out how to find these things where you live. If you're not a member, then there's a lot of free sources like findhelp.org or your elected officials. You just start digging and use AI. Don't use Google looking for this stuff because you'll just wind up spending money. Okay, here we go. Okay, how about $12,500 for a food and wine business? So if you have a business involved in selling food or wine, here's a grant at the State Economic Development Office for that. Okay, here's one. A community development block grant, which is giving $58,000 to help people who want to help the homeless. I don't know where you live, but where I live, I know there's a lot of homeless. And what we do is give gift cards at Christmas time and things like that on fundraisers and whatever. So here they're giving out $58,000 for groups locally to help the homeless. So maybe you could do something like that, okay? And that's for the Community Development Block Grant. Here's what, near the end of the rope. This is a nonprofit, okay, that gives out grants to people who are struggling. Now, actually what they have, people who have trouble paying rent, paying for their car, paying their phone bills. So this is the kind of nonprofits that are out there in local communities. Okay, so that's another example. Here's a pop-up here. A loan that is 0% interest. How do you like that? Who else would give a loan 0% interest? Well, the government does. And not only that, they give free seminars if you don't think you know how to apply it. A lot of our members are like that. They're so paranoid they think they won't know how to fill out the blanks of an application, and that's fine. So you take the free seminars. And most of the loans that are given out or even grants have that, where they give out seminars. Let's see, where are we? Oh, tax refund. Okay, this is Pennsylvania has a tax refund. Actually, it's $1,000 in rent and property taxes. So in other words, they're giving back $1,000 even if you don't pay property taxes. So if you pay rent, you're going to get $1,000. And they're doing this through the tax system. So that's why now you're going to start paying taxes. You got to be on the lookout for things like this for the tax system. How do you find it? Well, you go to findhelp.org, and look for free tax help. There's a lot of free tax help locally because this will be local, state kind of stuff, and you want to find out about that local stuff, okay? So findhelp.org and look for free tax help. Okay, who else we got here? Oh, there's a good thing. You can't see because they want me to buy this, and I ran out of my freebies. But to tell you about a program That's available and this is Hazleton, Pennsylvania, where I live. Now, what they're doing is paying people who don't have degrees and don't have a good job. They pay you $35,000 to train for a good job that starts at $35 an hour. So you get paid $35 an hour. Now that's correct. This is benefits and wages, okay? $35 an hour. You get paid while you training. You get paid while you're training, and then you get a job for $55 an hour. Man, I mean, I haven't seen a deal like that for a long time. See, this is Biden money. They got so much training money, and Biden's giving out all around the country. Okay, here's another thing for seniors called the Federal Home Loan Bank Board. Now, the Federal Home Loan Bank Board is a little complicated. It's a bank of banks. It's a government set up this bank of banks, and this is where a lot of banks don't give out. The commercial banks don't, but these government subsidized banks give out grants. And this is a grant for $5,000 to $20,000 for home repair for people over 60. Okay, no matter what age you are. So, I'm 80, so I could apply this for the last 20 years. Okay. Now, the Federal Home Loan Bank Board, you got to find out which members in your area belong to the Federal Home Loan Bank. And there's regions and everything. So to find out all of that, you go to Federal Home Loan Bank Board. Federal Home Loan Bank Board and find the office near you. Okay, it's going to take a little planning or research on your part, but if you go to FHLBANKS.com, that's the national office. So you want to find your local office and see what the local office has. That's FHLBANKS. Now, I'm going to have all this stuff in the description below, so don't worry about it. Okay, where are we? We're like number 8, I think. Emergency assistance for college students. Listen to this. They're giving college students, and this is in Minnesota, $1,200 to help pay for living expenses, rent, food, emergencies, groceries, transportation, things like that. That's an extra grant. They're giving it to the college to give to the students. So that's why anybody who's in a college, full-time, part-time, make sure you go your financial aid office. They're getting money all the time that comes and go. Get a friend there so they know that you're always looking for money and they can tell you when new stuff comes in. Now, this is interesting. There's scam artists that are, the EBT, the card you get for some of the social programs now to pay for food stamps and stuff like that. Well, what they're doing, scammers are taking photographs of you putting in your number, then they make a clone card and zero out your balance. Now, that's a pain in the ass, right? Because you don't have money. Now, some states will, and a lot of states now are giving back. So if somebody steals your money like that and you didn't know, call the organization locally or call your elected official, because you could get the money turned back into it. And this is like this story here. They found 30 or 40 thieves that are running around the country doing this stuff, and they're headquartered out in Bulgaria or somewhere in Eastern Europe. That was interesting. But here's another thing about rent for pandemic rent. A lot of cities, a lot of states, a lot of counties still have money for the pandemic, okay, to pay for rent. And if they're out, then you really have to go to findhelp.com and find other sources. People have money that won't be pandemic money. There's always money for rent. You have to dig it out. But there's also still the national money for rent for the pandemic. So that's still there. Now they're saying, hey, you have until June 27th to apply for the rent for the pandemic. And this is down in Johns County. I think this is Florida. Yes, it's Florida. So that's why, the money's there. It's just going to take more work than you thought, okay? But our grants are really easy. See, what we do, we give out grants, $75,000 for the grants just to members every month, and in 4 different applications, and you can apply for all 4. You can win all 4, but you can't win one twice, okay? And so make sure if and when you join, you apply to all our 4 applications, okay? And if you're not a member, fine. Findhelp.org is a good place to start looking for things, or call up your elected official. Now, everybody's not going to be perfect, and they may or may not help you. That's all okay. You may have to make 20 calls to do something, but man, if somebody's going to give you $30,000 not to pay rent, that's worth more than 30 calls, right? So roll up your sleeves and find out what's out there, because somebody's got to get the money. And hundreds of millions of people get it every year, an average of $14,000 every year. Wow, why not you? Because you don't.